Hello dear students. In this second video on regular expressions, I will teach what is the basic definition of regular expression and some very simple examples which will help us understand what really regular expressions are and what are they used for. Let's see the definition. Just don't get frightened on looking at these 3 points because the first impression of all the students on seeing this definition is, good lord, what is this? We don't know anything about this. But I promise at the end of the video you will know each and every word in this definition properly. Let us say for building our definition, let's say that we are given an alphabet sigma which is a comma b. So we can say that in our world right now, in this problem, we have only two symbols A and B, and we can construct any string using only these two symbols A comma B. So if this is the sigma given, then what is the regular expression that can be built on this sigma? First point in the definition says that every symbol of sigma. What do you mean by every symbol of sigma? Yes, A, B, for every such symbol, if you take any symbol of sigma, then that symbol itself is a regular expression. Come again. That means if I ask you, I have written one regular expression R. Let's say R is the just a symbol given for regular expression. And suppose I say R is A, then this is a regular expression by itself. Or if I say there is a regular expression B, then this B itself is a regular expression because the first point says every symbol of sigma itself is a regular expression. Second point you note, second point is epsilon. Many authors write this as lambda also. You know epsilon is nothing but a null string, empty string. Epsilon itself is a regular expression. So given any alphabet, whatever alphabet it is, epsilon is always treated as a regular expression. So come again, if I write I have a regular expression this way, epsilon, then this itself, epsilon itself is a regular expression. Okay. Now comes the interesting part. Third point says that if we have two regular expressions, R1 and R2, note that these are already regular expressions. So I have written if R1 and R2 are RE for short, regular expression, then point number A, R1 plus R2 itself is a regular expression. We say we are finding union of the two regular expressions. So remember, if two regular expressions are given, existing, and if we find union of those two regular expressions, then the result is a new regular expression. What I mean is, suppose I have R1 as A. Now you know that A is a regular expression because A is the member of sigma. And if I have R2 is equal to B, now you know B is also a regular expression because B is member of sigma. Then if I say R3 is A plus B, now A itself is a regular expression, B itself is a regular expression, then A plus B is a regular expression. We say we have found union of the two regular expressions, and union of two regular expressions is always a new regular expression. Remember this. Point number B, if R1 and R2 are already two regular expressions, then R1 dot R2, to be read as dot, is a regular expression. Now this dot here stands for concatenation of two regular expressions R1 and R2. So going to our previous example that we were looking, see if R1 is A as pointed here, R1 is A, this itself is a regular expression. Give me some time, wait a minute. I want to erase a few things so that I can make some room. Okay. Let's say R1 is A. This itself is a regular expression because A is member of sigma. R2 is B. This itself is a regular expression, correct? Because B is member of sigma. And now if I say R3 new regular expression is A dot B, then A is a regular expression, B is a regular expression. Concatenating the two regular expressions gives us a new regular expression. Many authors, or even we, will later on write this A dot B as AB. When AB is written, it is understood that these two regular expressions have been concatenated using a dot. Okay. So remember, concatenation of two regular expressions itself is a regular expression. Now the third thing, point number C, you watch. If R1 is already a regular expression, then R1 star, this is read as star, is also a regular expression. We say this operation of raising a regular expression to a asterisk or star is a closure operation. Okay, let's stick to our example, a very small example that I have been writing on top corner. If R1 is a regular expression, say R1 is A, you know A itself is a regular expression because A is member of sigma. Then if I write A star like this, now note A itself is a regular expression and I am raising it to star, then this is a new regular expression. Okay, and this is known as closure operation. I will tell you what is the meaning of all this, but this is the definition of regular expression. You can see that if you have smaller regular expressions, you can make larger regular expressions by union, concatenate, and closure. Now, what is the meaning of all this? I'm sure you're going impatient after reading this definition. But trust me, this definition should be remembered not only till the gate exam, but this is such an important definition. This is a recursive definition which helps us in building a larger regular expression from smaller ones. Okay, what is the meaning of all this? Let's see. You just consider sigma equal to a comma b again. So in our world, we are having only two alphabets, two characters, two letters, whatever you say, A and B. And we are allowed to take any string made up of A and B. So let's consider set of all possible strings. Just check this. Whatever strings are possible that can be constructed using A comma B. Just ask yourselves which strings are possible that you can construct using A and B. Of course, you will say, I will take only A. This is a string. Come on, this is a string. I am just enclosing it in double quotes to emphasize that this is a string. This doesn't contain B, but of course, this is a string made up of A or B. Even single B is a string made up of A or B. What about AB? Yes. What about BA? Of course. Double A? Yeah, we have not taken any B over here, but double A is a string made up of sigma. Double B, you can find out that this A and B are one letter strings, whereas AB, BA, AA, BB are two letter strings. Similarly, we can construct three letter strings by not taking B at all, by not taking A at all, and then trying all permutations, all possibilities in this fashion. So there will be a string BAB, there will be a string BBA, and so on. All the three letter strings. I can continue all day like this. We can take four letter strings, five letter strings, infinite letter strings. By the way, there is one more string that can be constructed using sigma. What if we don't take anything? Yes, that's epsilon or lambda. Many people write this as empty string. So even empty string can be constructed using the given sigma a comma b, because we are not taking either a nor b we are taking. So epsilon is also a string that can be constructed. So just as a Venn diagram, I have shown this universal set. Now you observe that this set contains all possible strings made up of A and B. Sigma is a member, A is a member, B is a member, double A is a member, double B, and so on. And this is going to be a very big bag, very big set, which contains all possible strings that can be made of A and B, or rather A or B. Now comes the big point. Suppose we are having a regular expression R, which is A. Note this. Check it again. Regular expression given is A, simply A. Then what does this regular expression represent? What does it do? You know, this regular expression in simple sense, in very simple sense, in layman's language, it is a filter. It is a filter. Okay. And the filter condition over here is the regular expression. What is the regular expression? A. On top of the filter, we are putting this particular regular expression A. And now you imagine this big set which contains all possible strings made up of A and B. Just imagine this. I am writing only a few strings, but this is a very big string made up of A and B. And now you decide that you will pour these strings one by one on this filter. So first you pour epsilon on this filter and you ask this epsilon, are you matching this pattern? Well, when will epsilon match the pattern? If epsilon is exactly A, because regular expression is A, but epsilon doesn't match the pattern. What that means is epsilon is not allowed to filter out. Epsilon is not filtered out. So here is our output. At the bottom of the filter, we have the output and epsilon doesn't pass through filter. Let's put A on this filter. See this string A, I am marking it here in the set. A is put on the filter and A readily passes, because if you actually keep this A on the regular expression, yes, regular expression is A and the string is A, it exactly matches the test, the filter test. So A is allowed to go to the output. I will write this as a set. It is allowed to go as the output, and the output set now contains A. Let's try to put B now. B is also one of the strings in the set. So every string in this big set is going to pass through this filter. Is B going to pass the test? No, not at all, because the regular expression is A and the string is B. You just check, it doesn't match the test. That is regular expression equal to A. It doesn't match. So B will not be passing the test. What about AA? Come again, think about it. What about double A? That's also a string, isn't it? Will double A pass the test? Think about it. No, double A won't pass the test. Why exactly double A won't pass? Because if you consider this string double A, we are pouring this on this filter. Will this pass the test? Although the very first A, note this A, matches this A of the regular expression. But hello, there is an extra A over here. And in the regular expression, we don't have any facility, any arrangement made for matching this second A. That means the regular expression is very stubborn and it will say that I will pass only those strings which are only single A. So double A will not pass. Of course, double B will not pass. Triple A will not pass. In fact, none of the strings will pass. What about epsilon? Epsilon will also not pass because it doesn't match A. That means if you have a regular expression A, R is equal to A, then out of that huge set of all the strings, only A is passed through. So we say R is equal to A, this regular expression for sigma is equal to A comma B. This is our set, correct? Sigma is equal to A comma B can recognize or accept only one string, one string. That's it. That's it. Okay. Huge set we had, and you can imagine so many strings getting onto the filter, and just helped by the filter condition R is equal to A, only A was helped, none other strings. So can you now imagine? I'm just going to again erase a few things here. Just patiently, you just check. I'm going to change the regular expression, and immediately you should be able to know which strings will pass that particular filter condition. Okay, just give me a second. So what if the filter condition now put is, or rather the regular expression we are thinking about is R is equal to B, let's say. Oh, that's simple, you might be saying. Suppose now we have the regular expression as R is equal to B, suppose. R is equal to B. This is the regular expression. And you have this huge set again. By the way, this set is also known as sigma star. Slowly and steadily, I am telling you all this. What is sigma star? Sigma star is a set which contains all possible words, strings or words, whatever you say, which can be made using sigma alphabet, using characters of sigma. Now, what if you feed epsilon to this filter? But then the test is R should be B and epsilon doesn't match B. So epsilon won't be in the output set. What if you feed A? A. But A doesn't match this regular expression at all. So A won't pass through. What about B? Yes. Only this string B will pass through the test and we will get output set as B. I hope you agree that BB will not pass the test. Check this string BB. I am encircling it in the set. BB won't pass the test because we have regular expression containing only single B. So we say regular expression R is equal to B. I am just overwriting a few things now. For sigma is equal to A comma B, can recognize only one string, that is B. I hope you are understanding. Let's continue. Let's continue. Suppose I have a regular expression as A plus B. Now here comes the point. A plus B. You know from the earlier discussion, A itself was a regular expression, isn't it? We took R is equal to A. B itself is a regular expression. R is equal to B we took. So you can think of that this is one regular expression, this is other, and we are finding union. So are you back to the definition? Here goes the definition. The definition was if R1 and R2 are regular expressions, then their union itself is a regular expression. Let's see what this means. R1 union R2, A plus B. We again have a big set which contains epsilon, A, B, AA, BB, AB, BA, triple A, and many strings like this, which are made up of sigma, that is A comma B, and we call this set as sigma star. Now watch the filter condition that we have put here. The filter condition that we have put is R is equal to A plus B. Okay. So which strings will pass through this test? Remember, we are going to put every string of this particular set under this test. So let's put epsilon first. No, never. Epsilon doesn't match A, B, nothing. It matches. What if we put A? Here comes the big point. This string A from our set. Now this has to be read as R is A or B. A or B union this is. So it might contain, this A might pass the test from R1 or it might pass the test from R2, any one of them. So A, you see, really matches the first part of the regular expression. I'll better write it again over here. See, we have R is equal to A plus B. This is the regular expression. You can say this is R1, this is R2, and we are finding union. And we have a string which is put under test. The string is A. And A really passes R1. Yes, it matches R1, although it doesn't match R2, but it matches R1. That means either R1 or R2 is the pattern matching condition, and A really obeys the condition given by R1. So A will go as the output. I hope you are understanding. Interesting part now. I am overwriting a few things. Suppose we give B, this string B here. Will B pass the test? Okay, you might have understood by now. Yes, B will pass the test because B says, okay, I am not same as R1 because R1 is A, but I am same as R2. R2 is B. So I have passed the test of R2. So any string which passes the test given by R1 or by R2, the condition given by R1 or R2 will go in the output. Isn't it so? This is so confusing, initially for the students. because most of the texts write A or B, correct? This plus is read as or, A or B. So what people think that either A will pass or B will pass. And here in the output, you see we have both A and B. What it means is that any string which matches A or any string which matches B will pass the test. So what does A plus B recognize? Out of so many strings, it will recognize only A comma B. Two strings are recognized. You see the output. The output has only two strings. Wait. Will B be this string which I am encircling? BB, will it be recognized? Will it be going through? No, because BB won't go through, because R is A plus B. You can say this is R1, this is R2, and the string under consideration is BB. Now, what's that? This BB never matches this regular expression. This regular expression says that the string should be A, and this BB does not match the another regular expression also, because the second regular expression says that the string should be single B, but we have double B, and we don't have any provision to match this second B in our regular expression. So only two strings will be passed through, that is A comma B. I hope you have understood, isn't it? Now, what if we have two regular expressions A and B, and we concatenate those two regular expressions? Suppose R1 is concatenated with R2. You recall our definition? The definition was that union is a regular expression, concatenation and closure is also a regular expression, isn't it? So we will come back in the next video and we will see what is this point B and point C. Remember, we are going to recall this definition time and again and again we are going to see this definition. This definition is so important, you should never forget it. See you in the next video. Thank you very much.